Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching the channel. Wanted to touch base with you guys a little bit about what's going on in America, where the problems lie, from my personal view. I don't live in a big city. I don't live in even a medium-sized city. I live in a rural area, just out in the country, away from everything and everybody. I'm isolated enough, in fact, that you would have a very difficult time, even if you knew exactly where I lived. You would have a very difficult time finding me on Google Earth. And you'll never see my front door on Google Maps. Never. Now, there's a little history lesson in this. And I'm going to go back to Rome. Why Rome? Why the Roman Empire? Why go back 2,000 years? Well, because you really have to stop and take a look at what happened to Rome and what's going on in the current political climate and the current eugenics of America. The American dichotomy is diverse. But that dichotomy is clustered. Now, understand, there are swing states in this country. And we elect our politicians based upon each state's popular vote and their votes in the Electoral College. It's a compromise system. It's designed to keep nepotism and everything else out. Doesn't always work. Corruption always exists. Guess what? We live it. The Roman Empire was much the same. You had the population clusters but you had an imperial powerhead. Now, let's not look at the imperial powerhead as one person. Let's look at it as whichever political party's in power at that point. Okay, but the good thing about our system versus what the Romans had, we could always overthrow the imperial leader. We could always overthrow a Democrat, or we could always overthrow a Republican. Sometimes we got worse, sometimes we got better. Rome couldn't do that. And I understand that. But let's take a look at it even closer, shall we? The problem is that the people in the cities were living the good life. Because all the farmers, they had to ship their goods to Rome, to Venice, to these population clusters. What do we do in America? What does the heartland do? It's the American breadbasket. It's called that for a reason. We grow goods in the Midwest, we raise cattle, wheat, corn, barley, rye. What happens? It gets shipped out everywhere else. It gets shipped to New York, Miami, Dallas, Los Angeles, all of these population clusters. 4 states in America have 1/3 of the Electoral College vote. 4 states. Why is that important? Because those are the highest population states. California goes Democrat. Texas goes Republican. New York goes Democrat. And Florida swings. So we now have the problem of population centers. We're forcing more and more of our farmers off of family homesteads, and we're selling them to big corporations. We impose more and more on the small American farmer to grow more and sell for less. We've done it for the last 75, 100 years, I think. Okay? Grow more, sell less, but you got to keep up with the grow more to sell for more. These families are starving. What happens to a country when you starve its food producers? They'll eventually stand up and quit taking it. They'll sell local. They'll grow local. And you're eventually going to lose your access to the food in the major population centers unless you import it. Rome weakened itself by doing that. It's a historical fact. It was well proven. When Rome could no longer raise the armies needed to protect the Roman Empire, Rome fell. With the fall of Rome, other empires rose. We're starving the American farmer out of existence. So what's he going to do? How's he going to make money? Well, take a look at what's in my pictures. There were 5 doe yesterday in my front yard. These are taken out of my screen door. Right out in front of my front porch. If I'd have had a bow and arrow, I could have killed one of them or two. And I had my freezer full of venison. I feed my family for 6 months. What are these big ranchers and big farm owners, what are they going to do to make money if they quit growing food, quit ranching, quit farming? They're going to let the deer in on their property, and then they're going to lease their property out to hunters. If you institute gun control, then you got another problem with the Midwest. The Midwest is going to have to figure out a way to feed itself. When you force people to evolve too much and try to take on a city lifestyle when they can't live a city lifestyle, then it becomes ugly. Why is America falling? Because we were teaching our kids too much to rely on a grocery store and not enough to rely on themselves in their own two hands. Innovation's good. But when it comes down to it, you're still going to have to work with your own two hands. And here we are. Your kids are hungry, and you ain't got a place to grow food. I feel sorry for you. You want to blame somebody else of the skin color for your inactions in life? I don't have any sympathy for you. You want to sit out and get addicted to substances? I got no sympathy for you. You want to blame others for your substance addictions? Well, if you couldn't cope with whatever happened to you or wherever you were born at, and nobody ever taught you to use your brain to overcome your circumstances, again, I have no sympathy for you. But listening to these young Turks, and I know I'm going to catch backlash for this next one, Alex Jones, in the news media, listening to them ain't gonna get you anywhere. You have to get out and live. You want to find out about guns? But you don't want to own one? Go to a gun range and rent one. Go put 1,000 rounds out. You ain't got to own the gun to do it, and go to a gun range and rent a gun. They'll teach you how to operate it. We don't need gun control or more gun control laws when we haven't been able to enforce the gun laws we have. People, you guys living in the big cities especially, you got to get this figured out. What happens? And let me ask you a serious question. And it doesn't seem like it's possible, but what happens when you can't go to the grocery store and buy food? What are you going to do? What are you going to do when the gas stations run out of gas? Tough questions, hard realities to face. But seriously, what are you going to do? The federal government was never designed to hold and fix and coddle you and say, I'm here to protect you. It was never designed to do that. It was designed to protect the borders and to hold states together. Beyond that, it wasn't designed to do what it's doing now. You're seeing a backwash of everything corrupt in this country. Welcome to it. Millennials, enjoy it. I'll see you on the other side.